her tears drown her baby, all because she waited too long. Look up Haley Colton and call me when you're ready to learn how to swim.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love P-Valley, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today we're going to be talking about P-Valley Season 2, Episode 7. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. Now we're going to run through this recap a little bit faster. Your boy is on vacation, but I decided to still drop a recap for you guys just to show that love. But what a crazy episode, a very emotional episode. It was more toned down this week, and I think we probably needed that because those last two episodes was explosive in my opinion, man. Back-to-back bangers, and in episode 7, we saw another solid episode in my opinion. Grandma Ernestine, she went through a lot, and I was hoping and praying she can get through it, and she did. I mean, she's still in the hospital, so now all we got to do is wait and see if she's going to be able to recover. But we know COVID, it wasn't no joke, especially with people that had those pre-existing medical issues like Grandma Ernestine. So hopefully it's all good. And I was happy that Autumn Knight helped out Keyshawn this episode, coming back at the end of the episode to give her that burner phone. She's going to need it. They're going to need to do something to take out this Derek character. I told y'all, we're going to keep saying it. Hopefully we need to be smoking on that Derek pack soon, and hopefully Derek can get up out of here. And of course, you know I gotta say it, I am tired of seeing his face each and every week. He gotta go. So y'all let me know what y'all think is gonna happen as far as that whole storyline. And we're also going to talk about Mercedes and Terricka, and also Uncle Cliff and Little Murda finally bonding back up once again. So let's begin the recap. As I told you guys, we're going to run through this a little bit quicker since your boy is on vacation, but we still are going to go over the episode. If I miss anything, y'all let me know down below. Leave those fan theories down below. And once again, we will be going over those fan theories this week. So what did we see in episode 7 titled Jackson? The episode starts out with us seeing Grandma Ernestine when she was younger at Club Pink. And it seemed like everything was going good at the very beginning, right? And she was doing her Ernestine's juke joint. We saw different decades, in my opinion, how the club continued to change. And we also saw Uncle Cliff when he was a little boy. Now, did y'all peep his mom? She was like, "That's your grandma, Uncle Cliff." So Cliff been having that name for a very long time. I saw some of you guys mention that last night in the Quick Thoughts video. I did find that to be funny. But it goes to show you that Grandma's been through a lot. This club has a lot of history, and this is just one of the reasons why Uncle Cliff doesn't really want to sell the club. It means a lot. Now, we get back to present day. Grandma is going through it mentally. She's messed up, right? And she sees her daughter, Uncle Cliff's mother, and she's pretty much telling her it is time. And y'all know what that means, right? It's time to go to the other side. Your time is up on this earth. But Grandma not ready to go. And when I saw this at the beginning of the episode, I'm looking like, okay, so Grandma was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I still got some time, to live. And it gave me more hope that Grandma will be able to survive this episode at least, right? Now we get to Uncle Cliff and Autumn Knight. And Cliff is just telling Autumn, like, look, I know you're trying to sell this club still. You're going to do it, but this club has history. I have a lot of history here. I pretty much grew up in this club. My family, my ancestors, they built this club. And, it's something that I don't want to go. I can go buy a new club, but I cannot build another Pink. Now, Autumn was telling Uncle Cliff that, look, they offered me $5 million, but I'm going to go for $10 million. I'm going to get you what you deserve. Cliff did make a good point. Like, this ain't about me. This is about you and what you want to do, right? Now, Autumn tells Uncle Cliff, like, yeah, I understand you have a lot of history here, but what about me? What about what I've been through? I'm really doing this for my daughter. This was a dream of mine. I'm not going to just let this go to waste, right? We know what happened with Haley and her daughter and the money and, the risk that she took. And, of course, she saved the club. But as Cliff said, your daughter is not here anymore, which had Autumn Knight speechless. But I will say this, Autumn did have a point. Even if she didn't buy the club or not, They was going to put that casino in, and of course this club probably would have been taken down eventually, right? Then we get to Mercedes and Terricka, and Mercedes is preparing herself for this long journey that she's about to have with her daughter. She is telling her she's going to take her to TCBY, get some ice cream. She's pretty much just beating around the bush as of right now. She knows she wants to take her to the abortion clinic and, get this done. She doesn't want her daughter to make the same mistake that she made, but we know it's going to take some time for her to make that decision on what she wants to do. Then we get to Little Murda, and of course he is still going through it. Losing Big Teak in the last episode had a huge effect on him, and it's going to be a very difficult, journey without Big Teak, in my opinion. Now, we saw this scene. They released an exclusive clip earlier on in the week, so we already knew this scene was going to happen with Little Murda helping out Grandma Ernestine, giving her a good meal, and he tells Grandma Ernestine to put in a good word to Uncle Cliff to make sure things are good between the two. And Grandma, she was killing this episode, man. She was killing it, y'all. She told him, like, look, I smell death, and I saw all that blood on you. So she understands that something is going on with Little Murda, and he couldn't really say anything. He was just looking like, man, you right. You damn sure right. So Grandma Ernestine, even if she's sick or not, she definitely feels that energy, and she definitely can sense that death is in the air. Like she told him, I smell death. Once again, we get in the foreshadows of death throughout this season. And as I told you guys in the past, it ain't over yet. We're going to continue to get more bodies dropped off. And then we get to Derek, the last person that I'm trying to see. I don't want to see Derek. I want to see this dude getting stumped out if I do see him. But in this episode, he's pissing me off once again for even breathing. And on top of that, he is trying to act like everything is good between him and Keyshawn. Like, dude, she don't like you for real. Like, you are a sicko. Now, Autumn Night notices that something's up with Keyshawn. She sees the bruises on her face. She's telling her, what happened to that strap that I gave you? You need to be using it. You should have used it and got rid of dude. But of course, she didn't. And then all of a sudden, Derek calls for Keyshawn to help out with the kids. I'm looking like, man, this dude, he's on one. Now, I am glad that Autumn Night came back at the end of the episode to help Keyshawn out. Then we get to your girl, Terricka. What's wrong with her? She in there singing that WAP, talking about it's hard to pull out and all that stuff. Like, really? You singing these lyrics after you just got knocked up? And Mercedes had me cracking up, man. She was like, really? You don't need to be even singing this stuff. But she was in the zone. Now, Terricka, she is throwing up. She is having the effects of being pregnant, and ain't looking too good for her. Now, Terricka does figure out that Mercedes was not about to take her to get no ice cream, that something else was up. She wasn't believing it. And Mercedes is like, yeah, you need to be going to this health clinic, this abortion clinic, because you're running out of time, and you have to understand that you can be facing death. She tells her that Serena Williams and Beyonce almost died giving birth. And they were some grown-ass women. You were a little girl for real. Like, what you think, could happen to you if you do this? You got to think about all the different outcomes. So now Terricka is thinking about what she wants to do, and she is struggling to make a decision throughout the entire episode. Then we get to Little Murda, and everybody is hitting his phone up. It's blowing up. The song he has with Tina Snow is all over the radio. It's blowing up. And we know Wody does end up talking to him, telling him that he has some more dates for them to go on tour. And they end up talking about Big Teak, right? So Little Murda is like, look, we're going to do something special for Big Teak. We know he doesn't really have no family. They didn't even come to make sure that everything was good with his body. So Little Murda is going to make sure that he goes out the proper way. Now, Uncle Cliff and Little Murda are having a conversation, and they end up talking about Cisco. Little Murda made a joke like he didn't know who Cisco was, but we know he knows exactly who Cisco is. And they end up talking about Cliff and the childhood Uncle Cliff had growing up. And it seems like Cliff has always been this way based on the conversation and based on how Uncle Cliff's mom raised Cliff, right? Now, Murda was like, man, I want to be something that the world won't let me be. And a Little Murda pretty much tells Uncle Cliff the dudes that he messed with in the past that was similar to him. It was easy to hide. But with Uncle Cliff, you're not hiding it. Ain't no secret about anything. So coming out is going to be a little bit more difficult for a Little Murda to do. Yes, he has talked about this in the past. He seemed like he wanted to do it, but we saw what happened on murder night, and this is what they was talking about. So what's going to happen in these final 3 episodes? Now they noticed that Grandma Ernestine ended up leaving, and now they have to go out there and find her. And I'm looking like, man, this is not going to end well. But like I told you guys earlier, having Little Murda there helping with Uncle Cliff was probably the best thing that could possibly happen. Then we get to Mercedes. She's having flashbacks to back when she was a teenager, and her and her mom, they're out eating. And of course we learn more details about how they didn't really have a place to stay like that. They was, jumping from house to house, with Patrice, of course, messing with different dudes, and they didn't even got enough money to pay the bill. Now Patrice tells Mercedes to go ahead and work her magic, do what she does, and maybe she can get some money to pay off the bill. Now, once Patrice sees that Mercedes had like a condom in there and she had a lot of money, she got pissed off. She was talking about how you not gonna be no hoe, and she was beating her down in front of everybody. I'm looking like, man, Patrice is out of her mind. So you wanted her to work her magic and get some money from this dude, but at the same time, you're pissed that she's having sex with her boyfriend, protected sex at that. I just don't get it, y'all. Now, we learned that Terricka's boyfriend, he really wants to keep the baby, talking about I can take care of us and all that stuff. He's going to get a job. I mean, these kids, they all over the place, y'all. But Terricka ends up going to the abortion clinic with Mercedes, and everybody's out there protesting pro-life. It's just more pressure added on to this young lady, and it's going to be a difficult decision for her to do. Now, she's apparently 14 weeks. I know a lot of you guys were stating that baby looked bigger than 14 weeks. Look, I ain't gonna get into all the details and science behind all this stuff. I'm just going by what they talking about. They saying she 14 weeks and she still has time to actually get an abortion and, make this right for her. Then we get to Grandma Ernestine. Uncle Cliff and Little Murda are able to find her. She is talking about she needs water. She wants to go to the water, and that, it's it. Like, she pretty much is accepting that her life is over. Now, Little Murda does go get her water, and once he did that, it kind of changed Grandma Ernestine a little bit. I believe it helped her out, and they was like, look, we got to get her to a hospital because this is getting real bad. She ain't looking too good. And I know a lot of you guys have been mentioning that she probably needs to go to the hospital. But I remember during the whole COVID thing, I mean, they didn't really do too much. If you had COVID, they pretty much treated you and sent you straight home unless you couldn't breathe or whatever. And I think that's what they were putting in the show. But Grandma's condition is getting worse, so now she really needs to go to the hospital. Now, Mercedes sees this dude looking at Terricka. She called him Art Kelly. That dude said, look, I don't care how old she is. Age ain't nothing but a number. It definitely seems like she's ready. I mean, I'm glad Mercedes checked that dude. He walked off, and Mercedes continued to have a conversation with her daughter about what she wants to do. And Mercedes is like, look, this is all on you. What do you want to do? Don't worry about what I want or what anybody else wants. What does Terricka want, right? Now we get back to Uncle Cliff and Little Murda and Grandma Ernestine. Of course, she is going to be going to the hospital, and this is difficult because y'all know during COVID, if one of your, family members was sick of COVID or whatever, they didn't really let nobody in the hospital. So the person that's sick will be there by themselves going through all that pain and suffering. So now Grandma has to go fight this battle alone. Hopefully she's able to get through it. Then we get to Mercedes. She's looking in the mirror and she sees her mother because she's feeling like the things that she is doing is because of her mother and that she's becoming her mother. And that's the last thing that she wants to do. We know Terricka was upset about Mercedes and her decision making growing up, and that Mercedes, considered having an abortion. But remember, Mercedes told her she did not have a choice growing up. Patrice made her keep the baby, right? So she wants to make sure that Terricka has the choice and Terricka is able to do what she wants to do. I believe that conversation helped Terricka open up a little bit more, and it helped her make her final call as far as what she really wanted to do. Now, Uncle Cliff is crying, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Very emotional thing going on, especially seeing that Grandma Ernestine might not make it. But luckily, Little Murda was there to help clear Cliff up, and he was playing that Cisco Thong song. They was having a good old time, and it seemed like they was just gonna chill and cuddle, and just relax. But no, that wasn't gonna happen. It had to go down. Uncle Cliff, Little Murda, once again, got it on, right? And this time around, Little Murda said, you know what? It's your turn. You can take my cheeks. That's exactly what Little Murda pretty much told him, right? And then Little Murda told Uncle Cliff to fill him up. I'm looking like, oh, hell nah. But hey, it is what it is. That's what your boy Little Murda wants to do. So be it. But I already know a lot of people are going to be talking about that scene, just like they was talking about the whole Big Teak and Little Murda scene as well. Now, after that happens, we get back to Terricka and Mercedes. And Mercedes is telling Terricka, like, look, you drive. You know what I'm saying? We can go back to Chuckalissa or we can go to Jackson. You choose on, as far as what you want to do. And Terricka said, you know what? I'm choosing Jackson. I'm going to have this abortion. I'm going to go ahead and just, finish this out right now. And Mercedes was happy because she's like, man, I didn't want her making the same mistakes that I made growing up. I don't want her to be struggling, especially at this age. She needs to live her life and have a good time. And after that all happened, Terricka tells Mercedes, like, look, am I going to go to hell for this? And Mercedes, she stepped up to the plate. She said, you know what? If you go to hell, I'm going to be there right beside you. And we saw the little ad for Patrice and her church and what she's doing. Because we know Patrice, if she finds out about this, she's going to feel some type of way about that, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, Mercedes is going to ride and die for her daughter. I'm glad that this is, happening as far as them bonding. We just need Shell up out the way. Shell is in the way. And, eventually, I hope Mercedes is going to be able to fully have custody of Terricka down the line. Now, we get back to Little Murda and Uncle Cliff. And Little Murda is about to tell Uncle Cliff about what happened to Big Teak. But he's struggling. He's breaking down. He's crying. And Uncle Cliff tells him, like, look, just wait. You tell me, all about this when you're ready. Just wait on it. So that's going to be a conversation down the line. Now, we get to the end of the episode. Derek answers the door. He needs to be not breathing, but he answers the door. And Autumn Night, she's there. She's talking about, she has a gift for Rigo. And we know her and Keyshawn, they end up talking. Now, Autumn Night, she's smart. I told y'all, man, this girl be moving and she don't be playing around. Now, she gets in there. She tells Keyshawn the story about herself, about her daughter and what she's been through, right? And she's pretty much telling her that she waited entirely too long. She could have prevented all this from happening with her daughter. Her daughter's not here anymore. But she's telling Keyshawn, like, if you continue to sit around and wait, you're going to drown. And it's not going to end well for you. So how about you take this burner phone, you call me, and I can help you. I can save you from not drowning. I can teach you the game, right? So hopefully Keyshawn takes her advice because Derek needs to go. As we already talked about, the longer Keyshawn waits around, the more likely Derek's going to be able to take her out. And that is something that I do not want to see. I don't want to see that. Not in this show. Derek, he has to go. That Derek pack, it's ready, y'all. It is ready. I'm just hoping and praying we get it. Now, episode 8 is titled The Death Drop. And based off that title, I already know somebody ain't gonna make it. Somebody gotta go. And I hope that somebody is Derek. But I got a feeling we're gonna see the return of Pico. And that whole Little Murda storyline is not over yet. Something is bound to happen. And also, I know a lot of you guys was talking about Big Bone and Diamond and, Octavius. We know Roulette is returning. Some of you guys say Whisper can't be trusted. She's a witch. I mean, we're going to get all those answers in episode 8. To me, episode 7 was real good, very emotional, but we needed an episode like this, especially after episode 5 and 6. We needed something like this, a more toned down episode, but they kept it real. And we know your girl, Grandma Ernestine, was able to survive, at least as of right now. But I cannot wait to see these last 3 episodes. But thank you guys for all the love, all the support. I will continue to drop more P-Valley Season 2 content this week. As I told you, leave those fan theories and we will discuss them like we always do later on down the line. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.